Hi, welcome to Corporate Intuition, a channel where I give advice on how to navigate around the workplace with a spiritual twist. Just a background on me, I am an executive assistant and I have been doing it for a number of years. I've supported very senior individuals, incredible individuals as well, in the corporate workplace. And it has been exciting. It has been fun. And I wanted to share some information with some of you who are new to this and are coming into the workplace as a new EA or a PA or an assistant, being whatever level you're at, or even a team assistant actually, because I have done that and it's all exciting. But if you're new to the game, as I like to call it, here's 5 tips which I'd like to share with you to help you, especially not just day one, preferably week one. So the first one I would be looking to around is the workplace. So know where you are. So knowing where you are is you've got the job, you've had a word with your agencies, everything's been cleared, you've gone into your workplace. The first obviously place you're going to be greeted by is the reception area, and those that work in reception are obviously incredible people, and I have met some incredible receptionists as well. Get to know these people when you walk in. It will help you to help you to understand that workplace and give you a great idea of who you're going to be, where you're going to be working, as well as who you're going to be working for as well, type of company, type of culture, and what they play, which is a very crucial role in that business. It's also good as part of your know where you are is walking around the workplace as well. Know where you're going to be sitting, if you're going to be near to your exec, if you're going to be far from them. Sometimes your execs could be in a completely different country and you're in a space, you're obviously in one country, they're in another. But just understand where you're going to be sat, which is be it on a permanent or a temporary measure. For example, I had a team of 7 people, and 2 of them, even 3 of them, actually worked outside of the UK. So just understand where you're going to be sat as well, and if you're going to be sat next to your fellow PAs, which brings me to item number 2. So for item number 2, you are going to be getting to know your fellow EAs, PAs, or business managers, the people who work quite closely with your executives, or even theirs working with yours, or your business managers that are working directly with that senior person that you could potentially be working for. You want to get to know who they are as well, because those are the people who you are going to be relying on, especially on day one, to get to understand the systems, knowing where the bathrooms are, where the kitchen is and whatnot, what you can and can't do in the building, fire escapes and whatnot. These are the people who are going to be working with you to negotiate meeting times as well. So what you want to do on that day is try to begin forming relationships with them. So your working with them will be a lot smoother. You also want to try to get to understand where they fit in the company as well. So some of them could be obviously working like myself in previous roles. I worked with people who are international that aren't even in the UK. I'm working in the US or Geneva or whatnot. So these people, you will need to understand their role, who their team members are as well. So if they have execs and who's in their group, what function they perform and whatnot. It's going to be varied for every person, depending on how big your company is. But you do want to start to understand obviously what they're doing in there as well. Have a look at their goals or understand what their targets are as well. So yeah, definitely get to know your fellow assistants. They are going to be very important for you as a new person to negotiate time, meetings, and if you have to put together anything as in trips or anything like that, very important. So definitely start to form those relationships with your fellow assistants. So for item 3, you've gotten to know, or you're building those crucial relationships with your fellow PAs. You now want to start working on your executive. So the person who's obviously hired you ultimately, maybe not, maybe it might be a personality fit, but it's more than likely they've chosen you for a reason to do this role, because you can do it, obviously. So what you want to do, and I like to do, me personally, is to book either a coffee date or a lunch date, even not date as in date but definitely meet up with your executive and get to understand and get to know them. So what you want to do is understand their thinking, which will ultimately help you. Find out about their home life and whatnot, how they like to work, the hours they like to work as well, so you can kind of like work in sync with them if you can, without obviously the late nights like I used to do as well. But definitely try to build a kind of like initial bond with them as well. It's just so they get to know who you are as a person and how you like us ultimately. You definitely need to work together. The both of you or the group of you are working for a common goal. So it's really important that you do have those meetings as early as possible. So if you're lucky enough to just have one, great, try and get that meeting in within the first week. If you are working with multiple executives, like I used to, like I still do in some cases as well, have a look at getting those booked in, especially within the first 2 weeks if you can at the latest. If they are international, which some of them are, try to book in a call with them, preferably either catch them in the early morning or towards the end of the day if they can. But definitely try to get those at least 20 minutes, I would say, in their calendar. It's just so you can meet them and they can understand who you are and what you'll be doing for them. The fourth thing I'd be looking for, especially on my day one, is getting to understand the systems. So the systems which I'm talking about could be like Google, Slack. There's obviously business like meeting management systems like on Deco. You've got Concur as well, which works pretty much the same as TripSource. Get to understand those systems on there, even if they are similar, or you find like, oh, I've done this before, so it's not going to be that much different. Still get to know them, because there's always going to be something different that you'll need to pick up and learn, especially when it comes to like putting through expenses and whatnot. Definitely use and get to understand how that business uses it, the deadlines in which you are supposed to submit those expenses as well. For, I know when it comes to trips and stuff like that, sometimes you need to put for expenses for those, whether it be flights or trains. Get to understand those systems. It's going to be easier for you. The quicker you can do it, the easier it's going to be. So especially when it comes to week one, not just day one, week one, try to understand what kind of systems you're going to be working with, what are the deadlines you're going to be facing, whether it be monthly submission, bi-weekly submissions for expenses or whatnot. But definitely do get to understand those. If you're not sure, have a word with your fellow PAs. Maybe they might be able to set some time out in their busy day to give you a hand so you can understand it. Worst case, you could always ask IT to help you as well, depending on how busy they are as well. I tend to navigate things around myself and pretty much understand it. As a career temp, I'm used to going into businesses and companies and whatnot and just hit the ground running. I get it. I've probably shown maybe once or twice, and then I just run with it. 9 times out of 10, I'm just gonna get with the program because I am new. There are and the work in the back of my mind will just pile up. So I try to get and understand as quickly as I can before the next batch comes in as well, because I'm probably gonna be dealing with something that probably hasn't been dealt with before, or there's something that's been sat there and no one's done anything about it. So I'm just picking it up and then clearing it, which is what I'm used to doing. So definitely get to understand the systems as well. Obviously you've got Outlook, which is your go-to tool as an assistant, but definitely learn those as quickly as you can, or within that first week. So the fifth thing I look to do on the first day actually, because I'm used to it, is to hit the ground running. So by what I just said, all I just spoke about is going in, having a look of what my emails are what's come in, going through that list, working as quickly as possible, speaking to my executives, whether they be here in the UK, in London, or elsewhere, and finding out what's urgent so I can help them to get through it as quickly as I can. It's probably something that you may not have to deal with depending on your status. So I'm a career temp. I go in and I'm used to dealing with the chaos and then sorting it out. And by that first week, I like to think I've got a lot of it under control. If you are a person coming from a permanent role, they'll probably give you a lot more grace to kind of like settle yourself in, because your job is obviously you're there for much longer. So you'll have time to sit there and kind of absorb everything in. In my position, I don't have time for that. I have to just go in and get what I need to get done as quickly as I can, and learn my execs on the way. But do take that time to, if you can, work efficiently. I wouldn't say you don't. Speed is not going to be your be all end all at that time, but definitely work efficiently. And try to get through as much as you can, because any help obviously for that exec is the best help. And if you can pick up anything on top of that will make their life easier as well, definitely do try to do that as well. So those are my tips, especially it not only applies to day one, it could even apply for week one as well as a new executive assistant. So if you're like me and you're a bit of a person who keeps to themselves, quite an introverted person. I think he's an ambivert actually, so I could be a bit of both introvert and extrovert, but yeah, so ambivert is me. But in terms of the workplace, I tend to keep to myself. It's only because my concentration levels are much higher when I am staying quiet and then just getting on and doing what I need to do. But if you do struggle with, and you are a little bit anxious when you go into that new workplace, take some time out for yourself, have a break, make yourself a coffee. If you can go for lunch, be it with your fellow PAs or EAs out of the office, then obviously definitely do that. If you only have 30 minutes like me, like I used to do quite a lot and wasn't always able to get out of the office, I would take some time out away from my desk and try to recoup and rebalance my energy in there, because sometimes it can be overwhelming. It's not just the colleagues that are in the workplace, it can also be how many emails you've got and how many tasks you have to do. It can be a lot. So I will just take a step back, have a break, and then come back to it after that 30 minutes. You'll be fine. Just remember, we're all here to do one, obviously to work towards the common goal, obviously to see the business succeed is yourself. But if you do find it overwhelming, then definitely take a step back and don't let it consume you. Much easier to take kind of like mini breaks where you can, rather than kind of let it all consume you and then you kind of like, when it comes to lunch, let it all go there. But definitely do try to balance your energy, and remember people are obviously in the workplace to help you, because they obviously want to see you win as well. So if you're working in a team, which is what I like to do, I love working in a team, it's great. I've worked with some absolutely amazing PAs and EAs in my career as well, and they are the reason why I was able to function so quickly, so efficiently as well, because without their help, I definitely would not have been able to survive out here. So shout out to all the people I used to work with as well. So yeah, definitely take a step back for yourself and deep breaths. You will get through it, and don't worry about what happens on day 2. Day 1 really is observation for you. So it's how the business works, who's who, how you're going to be working with your executives, and also it's just to understand working with the systems as well. So day 1, purely observation and the understanding. That's what you put day 1 down to. The rest of the week is going to be slowly but surely integrating into the business and understanding the goals, what their principles are, and working towards that, working towards the production, working towards their common goal. So you'll be fine, and don't think you're doing anything wrong, because you're really not. I'm pretty sure that your fellow executives, even your fellow executives, as well as your fellow EAs, have made some not so great decisions and maybe a few mistakes along the way before they actually got into into the groove and started running with whatever they're running with. So don't beat yourself up on it. It is a new role for you, especially if you're just starting out. So give yourself a break on there. You will get it. And once you understand it, life will be much, much easier for you. And from that understanding comes the confidence. So you'll be able to move as quickly as a temp PA like myself, and make even more career moves later on in your life. Hope that helps. See you on the next one.